And we are live. It's 8:30 on the nose. Get in. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Extra Time on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Joining me as ever, or joining us as ever, as Gary I would say, is Laura. Good afternoon, good evening, good evening, good night, Laura. How are you? How's your week been so far?
Good, busy, very good.
Nice.
Yes.
Good. Have you had a good day today? What's been happening? Come on.
What's happening today? We've done some place value in maths.
Ooh, place value.
Describing Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in English.
Ooh,
and then
nice.
A bit of Hanukkah. Is that how you say it? Hanukkah?
It depends where you're from. Or
I'm
if
from
you understand.
Gateshead.
Hanukkah.
We did some role play, which they thoroughly enjoyed.
And was the role play linked to Hanukkah, or was that linked
Yes,
to the...
well, it was meant to be, but it took a turn. There was a lot of fighting.
Ooh. Expand upon this, please. Don't change the names.
Well, if our viewers are familiar with the story of Hanukkah, it started when...
Oh no! Don't, you're gonna...
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not familiar with.
Well, basically, there was a fight, and that's a small part of it. But obviously, they fixated on that, so the whole role play was the fight, and they ignored the part about lighting the candles and stuff. But whatever, they got into it.
Well, I made the mistake of driving through Gateshead and through Bensham, and my little one asked me about a Jewish guy, and he had the hat on, and I made the mistake of like, right, so I started explaining to her. So now every time we go through Gateshead, that's a Jewish man there. There's a Jewish man there. Oh, there's some Jewish girls. Hi, and like she's waving at them. This little 5-year-old, she absolutely loves it. And then we got talking about other stuff, and I started talking about the war and the Nazis. So now she's obsessed with Nazis. She's like, tell us about the Nazis again. I'm like, oh my god. Oh, so anyway, yes. So sorry to go off on a slight tangent there. I mean, we're only 2.5 minutes in, and we're talking about Nazis and Jews. So it can only go downhill from here. But yes. Have you been watching any more Married at First Sight? We might as well get that out of the way as well.
Yes, I'm a bit good. We're missing the last one tonight.
Oh, you're joking. Watch it on catch up though. I'm sure you've
I'm gonna have to.
I'm sure you've got catch up.
Yeah.
Yes. So so it's been a busy week as ever in Newcastle. We've got obviously Steve Bruce's excellent nail biting edge of the seat press conference tomorrow, where he'll probably tell us what we already know and be asked questions that we already know the answer to, and then they might mention the cat case, and he probably won't know anything about that, which is basically what everybody else knows. So the lads on the Always Smiling Faces podcast, which is still available on YouTube, obviously. Go and check that out. They reflected on the Watford game. But Laura, your thoughts on the Watford game briefly before we get into kind of this week's topics and what we're kind of covering today?
Yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed the first half. I thought it was brilliant. My dad never watches them, so I was watching it, and I rang him at half time, and he tells us not to, so he ignored us for a little while. But I texted him saying, like, no, you have to answer, it's good news. So I rang him, and obviously I thought it was really good. Played really well. I had a lot of chances, missed a few chances. But I did leave the conversation at half time with my dad saying, but I know what's going to happen. Yeah. He was like, yeah, that's going to happen. I was like, I know. It was so predictable and inevitable that I feel like I'm lost for words to what to say about it, because I feel like I say the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
How many times has that happened?
You've seen, I think I've had a chance to listen to a few podcasts this week, and obviously the lads the other day, and we've all seen that game before several times in the last 10 years, 13 years. There was a sense of inevitability about it, even as Jacob Murphy strode through in the last minute. Put it in the net. I think that was like
brilliant.
That was absolutely brilliant. It was almost worth missing the chance to hear that.
It was just
that iconic commentary. It's up there.
It was just such a fan moment rather than a commentator commentating. It was brilliant. Yeah. Like I really thought
it was up there with boom boom check the room or whatever that. Remember when Fiote scored against Arsenal? Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
right
it was.
There,
it was just a shame, Murphy. I think I think he had too much time, and I think he just was trying to be clever, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone. And has he said anything about it? Has he come out and done a
That's,
Bruno Fernandes apology? Or
yeah, I don't think. I think he's. I don't think he's the type to come out and. I get the impression that he's a very shy, retiring type of young fellow. I don't know, but
he went for pizza and Gosford last night. I know that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, happy days. He might have missed the table when he went to Saloon, you know. Ooh.
Missed his mum.
And hopefully he didn't order any chips.
Very good. Very good.
I thank you. I'm all here all week. Right, yeah. So obviously this week's been an important week in some ways for Newcastle as a club. There've obviously been the competition appeal tribunal. The CAT case, is that
what CAT stands for? Say, I didn't even know that.
I believe so. Yes. So that's been ongoing. Obviously, us at extra time, we're always with our finger to the pulse. But I think until we know more about what the fudge is going on, I think we'll just plead the Fifth Amendment and make definitely no comment whatsoever. But I suppose, you've got this sort of thing between St James's Holding and the Premier League. And interestingly enough, the guy, it's a 3-man panel, and it's somebody called Mr. Justice Miles, who is the sort of head of this tribunal group. But Laura, do you think it's a massive coincidence that this solicitor, his first name's Justice?
Justice, yeah. Well, I didn't know that, and as soon as you said it, I was like, interesting.
Is it a coincidence, or is it no? Or is
it depends what part of Twitter you're from.
Is it his real name, or is it
if you're from one side of Twitter, I think it's just complete and utter random man. If you're from another side of Twitter, there's something in it. There's definitely a meaning.
Yeah, Mr. Justice. I'd love to be that man. But yeah, so it's been kind of agreed that the next important date, if you're kind of keeping a track of it, if you're one of the thousands of people who watched it unfold and had
I couldn't believe that many people watched it.
I couldn't imagine actually I'm not the brightest tool in the box. So I wouldn't be able to follow it, but I'm sure that people are. But yeah, the next important date is the 3rd of January.
But is that not? Are they saying that it won't be then because that's a bank holiday?
Well, I think it's beginning that week, so possibly on the 4th, maybe it's on the Tuesday, and then it'll take a week, and then they can move on to whatever the fuck's next. Who knows? But yeah, so kind of covering those things, boxing those bits off. I had to mention it because it's a bit of an elephant in the room. But the main topic today, as you might have seen on the socials, was Tales of the Unexpected. That is our hashtag today, and we'd love you to get involved with some comments. Really love to see that. And obviously today, or this week, a few days ago, Stephen Vincent Taylor, 12 or 13-year servant of Newcastle, decided to hang up his boots and retire from football. He's finished his career over in New Zealand. A good career, interrupted by injury. We'll go into a little bit more detail as we go through our show today. But Laura, apparently he played under 12 permanent managers. I thought it was 11.
Oh, don't say you're going to ask us to name them.
So, Laura.
Oh, no. You did many? Pre-warn us?
Well, something's got to be some spontaneity to it, So, Laura, how many of the permanent managers do you think you can name off the top of your head? I bet you Daryl's all over this, and I bet you Geordie Sandcaster is as well. So what do we think? Come on, Laura, give us a few. Who do you think the first was? Who gave him his debut?
How many years ago?
It was 2004 was his debut against Bolton.
Oh, because you said Bolton, I'm just going to whack a name in there, Allardyce.
No, before that.
Before Allardyce.
He was a Knight of the Realm.
What does that mean?
He's helping you out. Daryl's helping you out, yeah. Come on, Laura.
Bobby.
Bobby Robson, yeah. So, yeah, it was Bobby Robson. He was his first manager. Can you name any others? Come on.
Well, all of them after Bobby. So, Allardyce.
Yeah.
Was he still there when Souness was there?
Yeah, Souness
Yes,
after. Well,
Souness.
Bobby Souness. Who was in between? Yeah, McLaren. Yeah.
Pardew.
Pardew.
Rhoda.
Yeah, Rhoda. Yeah, we've got that one. Got that one. Got that one. Somebody we briefly talked about last time, who was maybe suffering a bit of an illness at the moment. Kenya, yeah.
Shearer,
yeah. Oh, hey, you're doing well, yeah, man.
How many have I got there?
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Shut up. Oh, I'm happy with that. So I'm missing 4.
Yeah.
No.
Give us a clue. Help me out, yeah.
Carver.
Carver the Charver.
Oh, of course.
Keegan. Houghton. Yeah.
Oh, Houghton.
Yeah.
Keegan.
And Nigel Pearson, randomly enough.
Was that before or after Shearer? Before.
Yeah.
The football's on, man.
What's Chris?
He's saying I keep looking at the left. I got wrong for that the last time.
He's such a teacher, isn't he? Yes. Such a teacher. But yeah, well done, Laura. That was pretty. That was impressive. What do you doubt yourself for?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I work well under pressure.
Well done. Yeah. So obviously, Houghton's available now. I mean, I'm not sure he might get back in. He's just been sacked by Nottingham Forest. But well done. That was a good effort. So, in a career that spanned 268 games for Newcastle, and also he made appearances for Wycombe on loan, where I think he played under Tony Adams, and then Portland Timbers randomly, and back to England to Ipswich, Peterborough, obviously over to Wellington Phoenix in New Zealand, and then Odisha, apparently.
Where's that?
It's in the Indian Super League. He played a few games for them, and then he finished his career back in New Zealand at Wellington. But so, Laura, we'll get into what the fans have sort of their abiding memories and what our viewers have thought about him. But what's your kind of when we say the word Stephen Taylor to you, what is the image? What is the overall thought?
Image?
Yeah,
I think the image is everyone the same, isn't it? Of him being shot in the.
I was gonna go fist bumps.
When he used to come to Gallowgate and do that before the game, I did quite enjoy that. No, we're laughing, we're joking. He's given us some very funny, stupid moments, but I thought he was a very loyal servant. I quite liked him. He was reliable, Mr. Reliable. But his stupid moments kind of overshadow everything else.
I think when you look back at his career at Newcastle, he was a bit of it's a bit of a cliche. He was a bit of a character, really. Like on reflection, I don't think he was ever captain because Colaccini was there when he was kind of. But I think
he would have been a good captain, mate.
I think there was a point where that was probably it looked like that was his trajectory, really. But I think he did have a few injuries. He'd done his I think he'd done his Achilles a few times. He'd done his shoulder. He had he's laid off for the hamstring. I think his body kind of didn't serve him that well, and it was a bit difficult. What's the story with him and the model again? I have a vague memory of something seedy happening. Well, I think
there's a lot of seedy things.
There's a lot of seedy things. There was a very questionable Twitter post as well, which was possibly, well, not possibly, but slightly racist. That he put out many years ago. But yeah, I think for me, and I think for a lot of fans, it'd be those fist bumps. And I think
I forgot about them. I wouldn't have remembered that if you never said.
Did he divide fans? Was he? Do you think he was quite a divisive player for us?
I didn't really. I don't think I had a season ticket. Did he play under Pardew? Yeah, Pardew and McLaren. Yeah. Oh well, I must have. Yeah, but to me, he's not one of them that I remember like arguing in the pub about, or like ever questioning his place in the team or his ability or anything like that. He's not one of those players that you have those debates in the pub about. So no, I kind of think everyone was just kind of on the same page. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you? Or?
I think for me, when he came into the team, when he first came into the team, I think there was like parallels with like John Terry. You know, like there was a lot spoke about him, and he looked like a very combative, strong. You know, he could play a little bit.
Yeah.
He was fairly quick, and I think a lot of fans, like, I had a lot of hope for him, really. But I think he just, you know, like, well, Chris is saying there, you know, I think he just got caught up too much in the hype. I think he was like, he was an excited kid. I remember when he scored his first goal. I think it might have been in Europe, possibly. I'm sure one of the lads will be able to find out there. And he ran. Remember, he ran the length of the pitch, like, and they then started calling Forrest Gump because he scored and he was like.
I think when you're saying that, it kind of like reminds us of like Pickford. Like he gets totally caught up in the hype, and I agree. He did. He used to, and that what Chris has just said about Pardew telling him so he did. He probably let it all get into his head, and that probably affected his performances. Because, like Kieran says, he was a fan. Like Pickford is a fan of Sunderland, and he got too involved.
Yeah, I think that's the difficult thing when when you're a local lad, in inverted commas, although he was born in Greenwich, but he was brought up in Whitley Bay. Yeah, he was brought up in Whitley Bay, but I think it's like if I ever got on that pitch for Newcastle, I'd be like, and like, I think that probably stopped him from kicking on. Plus the injuries obviously probably stopped him. He just couldn't help himself. He was like,
couldn't contain it at all.
Probably given a bit of time, it's been a long time since he played for us. When you look back on it, like, it is quite a nice story, that he grew up supporting Newcastle. He played for his boy. It's that dream that we all have to play for your club, but I think he did. Do you think maybe that he did get caught up in the hype a bit too much? That possibly might have hindered.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't have maybe remembered that until you've said it. But now that you've said it and I can reflect on it, I think he's very much just like when you were talking there, I was thinking of Dummett, and like he's very cool and calm and does a job and doesn't like
sexy, nice,
everything, all the lovely adjectives you can imagine. But I just think he I think he did get an England captain.
No, well, he played at every single level, which this when he probably looks back on his career, which he probably is as we speak, probably watching this. He played it under 16, 17, 18, he played it all levels.
I'm sure I remember watching him in Cyprus with my dad in a pub, and was it under 21s, and it was that longest penalty ever.
Yeah, he was the captain for the under 21s. And then I think he got one England B cap when that was a thing.
Right.
And then I believe, I'm sure someone will pick us up on this one. I think he was once in a squad under McLaren. I think he nearly made it, but he didn't quite make the cut, unfortunately. But I think probably, like you were saying before, Laura, about that, getting caught up in the hype probably stopped him from, getting an actual consistent partner, because he was a good. I think there's no denying, fist bumping and obviously the Aston Villa incident aside and various other things, he was a good player. He was a good player, and I think him and Colaccini together for a spell before he got injured, they were a good partnership, because I think Colaccini could maybe keep him calm. It was a bit like probably Woodgate.
Was he invited to Colo's party?
Ooh, that is a good question. Was he still there? Yeah, maybe he was. But I think a bit like Woodgate and Bramble, they were a good pair, because Bramble was like a bit erratic at times.
And he was the calming influence.
He was a calming influence. I think Tom seems to think it was San Marino away.
What was that?
When he got called into the squad.
Called in.
And he and Blue Moon Boy, Newcastle's most iconic number 27. He's got to be. I can't name anyone more iconic than him. Chris, 3 red cards that day. Well, I think that was a really obviously the famous game where Dyer and Bowyer got into their altercation, and I believe that he got sent off first, and then Darren Boyer happened, and I think he was waiting in the.
Taylor got sent off first.
I think he did. And then he was in the changing rooms, and then them two came down like ripped shirts and all sorts. So
what are you doing?
Yeah, what's going on, lads? Is there something happening? Or is there? But yeah. Oh, 27, of course, Philippe Albert. How could I forget? Thank you very much. Everyone knows his name. Apparently, if anyone can find him, if you can just tell Bestie, and we'll see, sort out wherever Philippe Albert is, who knows. But yeah, I think he was a good player. How good could he have been, though? How good could he have been? Injuries, and then,
Was there ever like a time when another club was like looking to take him from where?
I think there was a period when maybe Everton had sort of dabbled a little bit and seen if they can take him on, but that kind of probably, I think so, but that probably would have been a bit of a sideward step, really. Maybe it's a down step at the time, But yeah, I think there's a lot of those memories, that fist bump, and of course, he did. Can you get an assist for putting off the goalkeeper before a free kick?
I think you can. It's definitely influencing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember being in the Gallowgate end when he was in front of, I think it was Begovic, maybe he's in goal for Stoke. And he was like,
I just tweeted because I realised we hadn't put a tweet out. So it was it the Stoke keeper, someone said, because I've just asked on Twitter for people's favourite memory, and I'm getting loads. That's why I keep looking, if you're wondering why I keep looking down.
It's all right.
So yeah, we've got loads actually. It's the dancing in front of Begovic. Then obviously everyone is just saying when he got shit. And Ellie said
when he got shit. And anyway, just go for it. That's something completely different, Laura.
Which I'm probably sure he wouldn't be in game for, knowing Stephen Taylor.
The question is, did Stephen Taylor ever let anyone shit on his chest? Answers in the comments. Answer in the comments, please. Did he ever get a Cleveland steamer?
What? Is that what it's called?
A Cleveland steamer is a development of being shat on your chest.
Right.
Google it.
No, thank you.
No, maybe he's not. But he was always, he got a few goals as well. He got some goals in important times. I remember he scored last minute against Chelsea away. Coming back to that Forrest Gump theme, he did get some important goals. So, we've had players who've played a lot, more games than Stephen Taylor, who or less games than Stephen Taylor, who are a little bit more looked at with a bit more fondness. But I think on reflection, we are, I feel like, always harsher on those players who are from here sometimes. Paul Dummett gets a lot of flack sometimes.
He is one of those players, I think, does divide the fan base.
Why do you think that is, though?
Dummett.
Why do you think that sometimes when these local players come through that they maybe get a bit more flack than others, Laura? Why is that?
Good question. Maybe because I was going to say something like we'll always say that we don't. I was going to say we expect more from them, but I don't know. Maybe just easy to dislike them, easy to call them, easy to say because they're not they're never like out of this world, like amazing, but they always do a job, loyal.
Yeah. Do you think because we're it's like you're so invested in you want them to do so well, and then when they disappoint you, fucking another one, I remember when Adam Armstrong, had a few starts for Newcastle, and you just want them to do so well, and then when they don't, you're like, bollocks,
don't give them enough time either. We just automatically want them to come in and be the best.
Yeah.
Like Shearer, I think because Shearer was local and because he was so amazing, we're just think everybody's going to be the next Shearer from here.
Yeah. I think my big thing with Stephen Taylor, and I always used to cringe, was before derby games, he was he loved a press quote. He loved, if the Chronicle, he was like the rent-a-gob. And I used to think he almost gave the opposition that team talk for them, because I remember he said about none of their players would get into our side. You know, like he would speak his mind, and like every time I'd be like, me bumhole would be like, oh no, don't, like, stop talking,
don't say that.
Stephen. You know, like you'd be like, oh no, like, and he would go and say something, and then, you know, obviously we had this, well, I suppose the streak is still alive where Sunderland, you know, the beat were several times, and I do put some of that at his door, you know, like I think like he just got them extra motivated.
Yeah, but
yeah,
like Keegan, when Keegan went on his mad rant, and obviously that just spurred Ferguson on and Manu and just went. But
yeah, but I think Stephen Taylor, he was a bit of a rent-a-gob at times, and I think maybe that might have rubbed people up the wrong way about him, possibly.
And his personal life as well, like he was such a tit, like
he
wasn't very likable. Like I didn't, as a person, like him. So
he wasn't like say Dummets, or, you know, just a quiet lad.
Quiet, keeps himself to himself.
He enjoyed his life as a Newcastle player, I will say.
Yes, very much.
And yes, Chris is right. Yeah, that was it. That was the quote about he'd rather collect stamps than play or watch Sunderland. So
is that what he said?
Yeah. Like,
who let him go out and speak?
But like, what comes into your mind? Like, if ever there's a time for like a Steve Bruce standard answer, that is the time.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Well, you know, they've got a lot of good players, and you know they're in a bit of good form.
It's going to be a difficult game.
Form goes out the window. Not like, oh, none of their players are getting our team, and I'd rather watch me daisies grow in the back garden than watch Sunderland, or whatever he said about collecting stamps. So yeah, he definitely was a divisive player. But having a look at his debut, I don't know if you remember that game, and he played against Bolton. He played at right back, and I remember we had a black strip on, and this is peak Bolton when they were like under Allardyce.
Nice.
They had like Davies, Pedersen, you know, some big units up front, and they definitely targeted him. He was like a skinny 18-year-old. But I was looking at the team, man, Laura. We had Given in goal. You had Woodgate, Jennings, Speed, Robert, Bellamy, Shearer. You know, what a team. What a team.
Depressing.
What a team. I think we played in Europe a few days before that. And then we got beat 1-0. Pedersen outmuscled him on the right-hand side. And then there was a bit of confusion between him and Given. And then there was a bit of a lob. Given was left in no man's land. So, yeah, it was a great Davy, Eddie there. I remember Stephen Taylor getting abused at Sunderland. Sutcliffe, West or Huntley wouldn't have got clipped as much.
Took me a little while to get that there.
I was thinking, who did Sutcliffe play for?
I thought it was a team, and I thought he just didn't put West Ham. And then I seen Huntley, and I was like, right, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's just hide that comment straight away there. But yeah, always nice to interact. But yeah, like, and he obviously played out of position, and then, you know, he was possibly at fault. But to be fair, he recovered, and, you know, he did have despite the injuries and the fist bumping and the, you know, the stuff with the dying on the pitch. And did you notice when he got that red card? Circular red card.
Was it?
Circular.
Wow.
They brought that in for those people who were colourblind. But then they quickly got rid of it. So maybe they didn't care about it.
What's that got to do with?
Because the red and the yellow card would look the same to somebody who's colourblind.
Oh, I thought you meant just because it was circle. They could now say red. I was like, what?
No. So that.
I was like, oh, I might try that in school.
Oh, no. So the yellow card was the normal rectangular shape, and then
I was going to order a circular guillotine there. Can you?
Teacher's crack. What is a circular guillotine?
I don't think there is one.
Do you remember the ones that used to chop? Like a proper... No. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. No, like when we were at school, I mean, well, not we, but like I'm 10 years older than you, but the teachers used to have a guillotine. You know, like how now it's like, like this. The guillotine at school used to be literally like health and safety nightmare.
Like an actual guillotine?
Like a wooden handle, plank with a little measure on it, And they used to
No.
woof, come down.
Oh, I never
slice,
come across that.
slice through the sugar paper. Aye.
Yummy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it was. Oh, great days. Get yourself down
It
to
is.
Beamish. You might find one.
I am
But yeah.
actually taking them to Beamish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Don't tell us the day because you'll have all your fans there. Yeah, Blue Moon Boy. I think what we're saying before about him having his head screwed on, I think he would have been, I think he would have been a great player, fantastic player. You know, those comparisons to Terry and Tony Adams would have been valid, I think. But
because Pickford gets away with it because he's in goal, doesn't he? So he can like calm himself down and come back around. But when you're on the pitch, you kind of.
Yeah, I think Pickford's had some time with a lady who talks to him about his boo boos. Definitely, it's definitely had a bit of chilled out time.
Calming.
I think since he's been involved. Yes, Tom backs us up. Those guillotines were absolutely lethal. So I think maybe Tom and I are from the same vintage. We're a bit older than you, Laura. We've got a bit more experience. We'll say, not old. But yeah, I think, and obviously he was known as like a bit of a prankster as well. There's a famous picture which Chris alluded to before. He was at a petrol station and he had a T-shirt on. Have you seen that one?
I've just got that off Randall. Randall's just sent it in.
Yeah, I love sushi with a picture of a mannequin man and woman, and you can imagine the rest. I'll leave the rest. I'll leave the rest to your imagination. But yeah, so I think on reflection, we've had a lot worse. We've had a lot better. He was good value. He was a character. I think all of us we've all got a little bit of Stephen Taylor inside of us. I think there's a little bit, not like, I think if we all are honest with ourselves, I think if we all got on that pitch and we saw the Gallowgate full, I think we'd all be tempted to give it a little bit of the fist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, come on. But then I wouldn't necessarily have the skills to actually do anything in front of the Gallowgate end other than pump those fists. But yeah. So yeah, I think he was. Well, I think Kieran, he reckons he was deeply limited. Kieran, that's a burn. But I think he needs to be, respected for his service to the club. But I do think injuries took a toll on him. I really do. I think potentially we had a great player on our hands, but
can I just ask a question? Because obviously I tweeted, so I was just looking at the replies there. So we've had the T-shirt from Randall, we've had the dancing in front of the Stoke keeper, we've got that time Andy Carroll broke his jaw, which I'm sure we'll get on to.
Oh yes! Oh my God, I completely forgotten about that.
How did you? Chris Laws said watching him play snooker against Jimmy White, and he got really angry because he was hopeless. True story, he said.
I think we need a little bit more information about that one.
I know. Local hero said none. He was awful for us when at the tune. So maybe that's dividing the fan base.
Ooh,
and then Paul Gibbons, I don't know who he is, but he's got a blue tick, has then tweeted it with the sushi T-shirt, the Villa handball, but real Taylor maniacs know this is his finest moment. And he's added a video, and it was versus Tottenham. But obviously, I can't watch a video while talking to you. So do you know what happened there?
Video against Tottenham?
Oh, it's on for 11.
Or maybe you can watch this finest moment.
I know, sorry. Well, it's on for 11 minutes, so I'm not going to bother. But if anyone can let me know.
If anyone in the comments can truncate that and tell us what the hell happened against Tottenham.
Tottenham, yeah. It was.
I can't think when
Let's see what it was. It was versus Tottenham 9 years ago. Oh, and all the comments are in Spanish, so I can't even.
Yeah. I do remember him having a great game. We played Chelsea at home, and he had a really, really good game against Drogba. He really did have a good game against him. I mean, Tom Lynch has really put a full stop on that and just said he was an idiot.
Well, I don't like him personally at all. I think he's an arse, but
I think, like I said, I think looking back, his career started off pretty well, and then I think, like you said before, he just got caught up in the hype and became this. He was almost like a caricature of himself, and he probably bought into the hype. He enjoyed his nights out, enjoyed the fame and the fortune, and he probably just took his eye off the ball and didn't focus on what was important. Maybe that's.
Yeah, I think he did. I think his nights out and his personal life as well got the better of him. I think. Why did Andy Carroll break his jaw?
Was it not something to do with Nzogbia?
I thought it was
feel
to
like
do with his girlfriend. I thought it was Andy's girlfriend he was texting.
oh yes, that's it. He actually did this a few times. Blue Moon Boy, well done.
Oh,
You don't
wait, what?
remember? He
What
would
on the
like
floor?
head the ball on the
Oh,
floor.
yes, he did do that.
And he did it against Sunderland. It was like a dying salmon, and he was like heading the ball.
Was that so that it wouldn't be a back pass?
Yeah, I think against Sunderland it was a tackle with his head, but I think that might have been possibly a back pass. Oh my god! I don't think you can question. He obviously was he was a fan.
His
And
dedication.
He was really like he loved the tune, and I think whether you think he was a great player or not, you're like surely there's like you've got to have some common ground with him on that point. Like there is, like I said, there's a little bit of Stephen Taylor in all of us where a little enjoyment of like, oh, I'm playing at St James's, and but ultimately you wouldn't find any of us in black and white, playing for Steve Bruce or any other manager. Yeah. So, but yeah. Oh yes, Stu. Obviously, yes. Drogba did destroy us single-handedly for Marseille. But
when was that? Because that is one of my earliest memories of when I started like fully being invested in a Newcastle fan. Like I've always been a fan, always watched them, but those 2 legs of football were.
That was a good run in the UEFA Cup, wasn't it? The old-fashioned UEFA Cup.
Just remember watching it on Channel 5.
And Habib Bey was playing for Marseille, and then I think we signed him the season afterwards, or a couple of years afterwards.
Who?
Probably, maybe Habib Bey. Sunday, Monday, Habib Bey. Tuesday, Wednesday, Habib Bey.
Did you make that up?
I bloody wish I did. No, I made up.
Oh, I know.
Fabian Shorter. Fabian Shorter. That was a great. How that never took off.
Oh, we fully enjoyed it in our few rows.
And yeah. I mean, it still could take off. But yeah, Marseille was 2004. So, but I'm sure there was a game against Chelsea when Drogba played for Chelsea, and Stephen Taylor had a good game against them. But it's really interesting. I went on Wikipedia, obviously, and if you look down at the different sort of like articles all about him, and like Stephen Taylor's passionate this, Stephen Taylor, like the headlines to the title there, the
because that's what you get when you're local. You get all the passionate, dedicated.
Yeah.
You don't really focus on the talent.
He was just probably a cliche, wasn't he? He's just a cliche of like what it's like for a homegrown lad to play for his local side. Enjoyed all the trappings. He thought he was a fan representative on the pitch, and he probably just missed the boat a little bit on each of those things, I think. But there you go.
Paul Gibbons is what's that word? Elaborated. He said Spurs somehow 1-0 down despite lacing shots at Krul all game. Oh, was that game when Krul had all
Oh yes, and Remy, I think, nicked it with a Remy goal, possibly.
He doesn't say, but it says Pardiola got himself off for pushing the linesman. After a Spurs attack and under pressure, Taylor drops to the floor and heads the ball back to Krul with a shit-eaten grin. A shit-eaten grin? That's class. Shit-eaten grin.
Give that to your kids in the morning. Don't you look at me with that shit-eating grin. Don't come in here with that shit-eating grin. Oh my god.
And there's a picture of Pardew pushing the linesman.
Oh, there you go. Yes, I remember.
I'm glad Paul's elaborated on that.
Yeah. I think Taylor probably is an embarrassing dad, but coming back,
has he got kids?
I can imagine probably several across
the
northeast.
Actually,
I imagine he's got little tails all over Newcastle. But obviously, just to really briefly touch on the back end of his career, when he went to obviously America, played for the Portland Timbers, been in India, and I think he found a bit of a home in New Zealand. And I think obviously all that was said about Taylor about being a bit of a loose cannon possibly, and a bit up in the hype. I think probably respect to the guy for he's gone out. His career, he probably wasn't the player that he was. He's gone to a new league, and but I think he's probably had from what I read, the last 18 months have been pretty tough because he's been basically in and out of quarantine because of the quarantine rules. And the Wellington Phoenix actually play in the Australian League, So I think, I'm sure I'll be corrected on this, but he's had to like live in Australia, and his family must be in New Zealand.
Right.
So he's had to like, and he hasn't
Being
been
on
able
his
to go
own.
back. And I think once, he went through periods where he just didn't play for months, and then he's stuck in a quarantine hotel.
Oh.
So I think because 35 is a young age to retire, I think, for a player.
That all he is?
He's only
Goodness.
35.
But
Yeah.
I feel like he's older.
Yeah. Well, he
That
came
it
into
just popped into my head. Was it Peterborough when I seen a video the other day when he announced his retirement of him shoveling the snow?
Yeah.
But again, that's not even Newcastle, and that's him getting too involved. And
In
so
crap.
it might not even be it might not even be a Newcastle thing. I think it might just be his personality. Like he gets too involved and invested that he's like, shite with this. I'm not waiting around. Give me the brush. I'm sweeping the snow.
Yeah. I think they were really close to the end of the game, and he didn't want to be abandoned. So I think that was the idea behind that one. But yeah, so he'll obviously go now and spend time with his family. And
he's gone to Dubai. I just seen on Instagram.
Oh, has he? He'll probably end up as our under-23s coach because let's face it, everybody else has had a blast at it. I think I'm sure like Ramage is at Newcastle in some capacity. I'm sure he's in one of the youth teams. So why not get the whole band back together? Get
everybody back.
Get Paul Huntington back. Let's get him back. I can't think of any other. Get Chopra back, coaching the strikers, of which we've got one who's fit but he doesn't play. But yeah, so
he came on for 7 minutes the other day.
That is true. And he ran around. He's really like. He's really
Why didn't that ball go to him? I think he would have scored at the end there.
I don't know whether he would have got away from the. Although the centre back was struggling, like he went off injured after that, but So, Laura, on reflection, Stephen Taylor. What would be your final words about Stephen Taylor? Go for it.
An arsehole, but an loyal, dedicated servant. Arsehole.
Arsehole. Just to bookend it.
Yes, I'm not a fan. I don't like him as a person. No.
You don't like him as a person?
No, but as a footballer, fine. Did a job. Happy with him.
I would say he was a fan who got to live his dream, but it ended up a bit of a fucking nightmare, to be honest with you. I think Tom agrees with the loyal arsehole, but I think there was potential, but it was probably unfulfilled potential, I think, with a bit of an arsehole thrown in there, I think. It's probably bookends. I think
his foolish moments definitely overshadow anything else that he did.
And Davey Eddie's given him a 6 out of 10. Give him a 6 out of 10, I think.
That's a Lee Ryder score, that, isn't it? Everyone's a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10, apart from Bruce, less said about him, them two, the better. Right, so this weekend,
do I have to talk about the current Newcastle, do we?
Well, we've got a few more minutes left, so might as well, bring us back into reality. I would say, like, we need it. Well, every game we need a win, but I think out of these the last 2 games we should have won at the weekend. We didn't. What are your hopes for the game against Wolves at the weekend, Laura? What do you expect to see?
Or what do I think? I think
a little sprinkling of this and a little sprinkling of that. See how we get.
I'm glad it's away. I think that benefits us weirdly. Like, I really do. I think playing at home at this moment is not good for us. The way the fan base is at the minute. Understandably, like completely understandably, but I don't think it would do any of them any favours to be playing at home, boost all the players. I think the pressure would just be far too intense. So I'm glad it's away. I think if, like, we played well for, what was it, 45 minutes on last Saturday. That's the biggest chunk, I would say, we've played well all season. So if we can just up that every time, we're bound to win sometime, surely. Surely. Don't know. I'm just.
Don't call me Shirley.
Is that a film reference?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Airplane classic. No. It's
Connor.
Naked Gun.
Oh.
No, it's Naked Gun. Classic. No, I think. Well, I think we played. I think we played well, apart from the first 5 minutes and the last 10. I think what
Or more
excellent.
than 45.
You know, in isolation, that was a good performance. But you know, we do reek of a team that plays well and still gets beat or doesn't win, and that's got relegation written all over it. You know, even in late September. You know, so I think I would start with the same 11 if possible.
Yeah, I would as well.
Still, you know, I think. Well, obviously the big hope is Alan Saint-Maximin, but I'm having a bit of a nightmare thinking about Traore versus Matt Ritchie. You know, Matt Ritchie really struggled
especially
against
because and him and Mankillo got booked like pretty sharpish in the first half, and I was really worried about that. Luckily it didn't turn into anything bad, but I was quite worried about that. So against Traore, like,
would it be time to bring back Lewis? Do you think possibly
I
with
don't think
with his
Lewis,
pace, or do you think the physicality would?
That's what I was going to say. I think yes, pace over Ritchie, 1,000,000%. Physicality, I think Ritchie tips it. I think he's more dedicated and more like committed to the job than Lewis would be. So I would still stick with Ritchie.
Yeah.
But I do agree with the pace. I don't think Lewis is experienced enough or like committed enough to like the challenges I think he's like better going forward rather than doing the job. So I would stick with Ritchie.
Obviously, Traore gets oiled up before the game and a half time.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch who's like been playing for Wolves regularly. Will Traore start?
I think so. I was on a Wolves podcast before.
Yes, I heard.
And I think Traore looks like he might start, and Jimenez up front, who scored last week, who had that terrible injury. So and I think the thought of an oiled up Traore versus an angry Matt Ritchie, it could be fireworks.
It could be, yeah.
But do you think the oil that he uses, do you think it's scented, or do you think it's just regular baby oil? And if it is scented, what does it smell of?
I feel like the way he looks, he definitely looks after himself. I think he would want that added scent. So I do believe that it would possibly be scented in terms of what
like a musky sort of
like a Lynx Africa.
Ooh, like a lynxy type of like a lynx color, yeah. Maybe it's like my high karate, maybe some brute or some dupe, taken out of the Pardew playbook possibly. I think Davey, he agrees on Ritchie at the moment. I think I agree with Davey there about Lewis. I think he will come good. I think under a good manager.
Yeah.
Which I've probably said
in
several
the
times.
right game and the right opponent and things like that, and when we've got an actual plan.
Stu, I think Stu might have hit on something. If the Newcastle players have talcum powder, maybe those little pouches that climbers use, the little Have you seen the little pouches they have with a little bit of talc in it? Like maybe if they use that, and that would kind of counter. That is a great. And if they really lose them, then they can just blow it in his face, and then and then get the ball and score a goal. Yeah, put it in the net. But I think what would be funny if Jacob Murphy's got any crack about him, if he's got any Stephen Taylor in him, he'll have a T-shirt underneath his shirt that says "Just put it in the net," and if he scores, shirt over, just put it in the net.
Idea.
Do you know what I mean? Like own it, just own it, own it, Murphy. Like embrace it, like it happened.
Oh, that is fantastic. Yes, totally.
He's not the first player to miss a sitter, and he definitely won't be the last.
I mean, Maximum missed the first half in Longstaff, that incident. Then, but because I think it's just a shame it was last minute, last kick of the ball.
It was a cataclysmic choice that he made, but he's a Newcastle fan. He's got a passion for the club and all that. So and I think he is that player. You can see he wears his confidence, everywhere he goes. And you know, I think if we'd had a home game, what do you think you know, say if this Wolves game was at home, what type of reception do you think you would have got off the fans? Do you think?
Oh, I think
I feel there would have been support. Like, I
yeah,
think,
I think they would have just forgot about it. I think all the like, and it wasn't necessarily abuse either. It was like, I think in that
yeah, it's just
sense, I think
yeah,
fans have got a right to, in that particular instance, they've got a
yeah,
right to say that opinion on that, because it was totally the wrong choice. But I do believe
yeah,
that they would have just put it at the back of their mind, and it
yeah,
wouldn't have been an issue if the game was at home.
yeah. I think, you know, it's got to be said that nobody wants, you know, he doesn't want to miss that
Of
chance.
course not, yeah.
He's a, you know, I think he probably just showed the level of football, you know, the level that he is. He's a
Mhm,
championship level player
mhm,
playing in the Premier
mhm,
League for his club,
mhm,
and he's a very lucky guy to be playing in this position.
mhm.
Um, Talking about that position, Blue Moon Boy said, "Do you think we should be starting Gale after those missed chances, or is he not good enough at this level anymore?" What do you think about that, Laura?
I
The
think,
Gale,
I think with strikers, apart from Joe Linton, strikers like Gale just need game time all the time to be able to like start. Like, remember, it just popped into my head there actually. You know, remember when Shearer for England was just missing, like didn't score in however many
yeah,
games, but they still stuck with
stuck
him
with him.
because they knew he
Yeah,
would come good eventually. And I
yeah.
think Gale's that type of
Are you
striker
are
where you
you
just need.
comparing Alan Shearer to Dwight Gale? Is that what you're
No,
doing
not
right
at
now?
all. I'm
Are you
comparing.
sure?
I'm 100% certain I'm not. I'm just saying a striker
Is that
like.
what you're doing? Is that what you're doing now?
Imagine.
You dick.
No, anyways, full stop. I'm not even
No.
finishing my sentence.
No, no, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. I do know what you mean. Yeah, I think I mean, we make football management sound really easy, but for me, it would be a case of, right, I know Wilson's out, and I think you're right, like
Just
Gale,
replace him with a striker.
I
Just
would say to Gale, like, right,
here's your
I'm going to
chance.
give you five,
Mhm,
10 games, or
mhm,
you know, or whatever it is. I'm going to give you 5 games from when he's out, because that's pretty much how, you know, whether you score in the first game, second game, I'm not bothered. I'm going to play you there. So you've got your
especially
window.
because all
What can you
these
do?
um pundits and ex-players like I'll say, and even like Joe Willock or whatever on BBC Newcastle, Bruce is the best man manager, brilliant one-to-one.
Yeah,
Not for Gail. I bet Gail would disagree. Like,
yeah,
dear me, he's not really giving him a boost of confidence. Your
yeah,
star striker's injured and you're not even getting a game. Like,
yeah. I think like Tom's kind of echoing what you're saying there. I think the desire there, you know, they've given him a new contract and then they've basically deffed him off and like said, well, you're not playing, you know.
mhm,
So I think I do feel sorry for him. I do feel
mhm.
sorry for him, but
And I think what Tom's saying there, like, I agree with his desire's gone, his attitude's gone, but so would yours if, like, your striker
yeah,
was injured and you're not getting in.
yeah. I think it's got to be disheartening,
Mhm.
definitely. Um, but yeah, so looking ahead to that Wolves game, then hopefully there'll be an illegal stream somewhere that I can watch it on. It's always good to find Hes goals. Is always good for an illegal stream if you can deal with the pop ups and the
Are you allowed
adverts.
to say that?
Well, I just did, so you know, other streams are available. Possibly, I don't know.
Mm.
You know, or maybe if you live abroad, you can watch it. I don't know. But yeah, so looking to that Wolves game. I know what your hopes are, but can I pin you down for a prediction on the score, Laura? What do you think?
I'm gonna be positive and go with the whole we've got to win at some point, and I'm gonna say I do think our first win will be away because I don't think they can cope with the pressure at home. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna say 1-0 us.
Come on. Well, we've got a decent record against
Mm-hmm.
Wolves. If we can bring Gutierrez back, he might get a
Oh yeah.
goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go, as I always do, I think I'm going to go 2-1 because, like using your logic, it's got to happen eventually.
Yeah. Who's gonna
Um,
score?
Alan St. Maximin and
Willock.
no, I think, what's his name?
Don't say it.
Murphy's going to score.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Joe.
He's gonna put it in the net.
Oh, I
And he's
hope he
gonna
does. That would be
shirt
good.
over,
Mhm,
just put it in the net. You know,
That
and
would be nice.
hopefully, you know, John Anderson can
Mhm.
sing his praises at the end of the game. But yeah, so I'm gonna go 2-1. You're gonna go with 1-0.
1-0.
Wow, you know, we're so positive on
Don't
this
know,
podcast.
don't know
I'm
what's
so
happening.
pleased. Yeah. Tom, he's gonna go with 1s each. Any other predictions
Not
out there?
another one. We can't one it again.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Wow.
Blue Monday. He thinks we're going to school them 3-1. I like that.
Is that a joke that you're saying Blue Monday, or do you actually think that says
Blue
Blue Monday?
Moon Boy. Oh, Blue Moon Boy.
I
It's
thought it
mainly,
was like a joke.
it's like Sand Dancer, Sandcaster, Moon Boy, Blue Moon Boy. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully we'll get it. Daryl's going to go 1s each as well. Yeah, I
All
think
these
we
draws.
needed 4 points out of these 2 games, and we've left ourselves not a lot of wiggle room, because we've got some tricky games coming up. We've got Spurs at home.
Yeah, that's the next one.
I do find it interesting, just to kind of go off on a bit of a one. All the pressure, you know, that they're saying that Nuno at Tottenham,
I know what you're going to say. Yeah,
they're like giving him pelters. You know, they started quite decently, started top of the league after the first 3 games, and then they've had a bit of a wobble, and now they're all of a sudden all the pundits are piling in on him. He's not good enough. He's not got the right philosophy for this team. Blah 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 blah. Why does he get this, and then managers like Steve Bruce with the worst win percentage in the Premier League they get, oh no, he's doing a great job.
Doing a great job. Don't know what he's whinging for. He's kept you in the
What?
league. Blah blah blah.
Why is that, Laura? Why?
Oh, completely just 2 words. Big Six. Like, they're not bothered. They just want like the biggest names to be with the big 6. Like, and if they come in and don't win 10 games off the bounce, that's shit. And I mean, I was reading Twitter last night. I didn't watch the game, but I was reading Twitter last night, and up until 50 minutes, they wanted Ollie out, and then 2-1, and like all was forgiven. Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
yeah, we are a fickle bunch, football fans. I suppose we are a fickle bunch. So we're going with a bit of positivity into the weekend. Like, why the hell not? Like, you might as well.
Just as an omen, last time I go to the Lady Boy. I'm going to see the Lady Boys tomorrow, and every time I go to see the Lady Boys, we draw. So actually, I might need to change because last time I went.
Do you think the lads are distracted by the presence of the Lady Boys in town? And
I think every time I seem to go, like, it comes up on me time hop that Newcastle are having an absolute mare. But one of the times I went was when we were 2-0 down against Hull, and I left early. Pardew was getting absolutely slated, and I left early because I was bored of it, and I was like, right, I need to go and get ready. I'm going to meet the girls, and we drew 2-2. So we might be a draw.
We'll take, I mean, would you take a draw? Like, we're still at the start of the season, but we just need.
I would take a point. I would take any points at this stage, which is sad because it's only September. But I would take a point. I would have took a point before the game on last Saturday, but after going 1-0 up and seeing it fall to pieces basically, and we were lucky not to go 2-1 down if that hadn't been offside.
Did you see the pictures of what's his chops? Foster giving it big ones when they went 2-1 up. Oh, that was so sweet. So he's like, and then.
But in their defense, like, I don't blame them. Like, 87 minutes, you score a goal, you weren't gonna celebrate, and it's just shit how it took ages, and then it was just loud.
What did you make of Jared Gillette's, or whatever his name was, performance? Our Australian friend,
well, he was a bit card happy,
referee.
wasn't he? I thought he was very quick to show a card rather than just let the game flow a bit. I mean, like I said earlier, when Richie and Mankillo got booked, I was like, shit.
Yeah. But did you see the tackle on Longstaff by their centre mid? I think it was the centre midfielder. He had a really short name. I think he's possibly Polish, and he absolutely
Mhm.
And then he
I
just
can't
like
remember.
ran away and got back in
Mhm.
position. And you're like,
Mm.
and then obviously, I think Decker on the Always Smiling Faces podcast was talking about obviously the chance where Miggy turns
Mhm.
Rose and Rose
Mhm.
just brings him down.
Yes,
And you're
definitely.
like,
I heard, yeah,
hey,
he was last man. He was on
yeah,
on goal. It's definitely a goal scoring opportunity.
yeah.
However, but then again, does it even out because Mankalo kicked that ball away in descent and he could have got a second yellow.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So
Evens itself out, even with VAR.
yeah.
Even with
Mhm.
VAR. But yeah, so, right, we're going to go into the weekend with a bit of positivity. You're going
Yeah.
1-0. I'm always going 2-1, regardless of who we're playing. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything will go as we've planned, and we get a win, and we get 3 points on the board, and that could kind of kickstart our season 7 games in. Who knows? Thank you, Laura. Thank you for joining us tonight again, and have a fantastic day tomorrow at school.
Thanks.
We talk about Jews and Nazis and subordinate clauses and anything
It's
else.
all
What
about the
doing?
tests tomorrow. Spelling test,
The
timetable
spelling
test,
test. That's what
homework check.
that is what I used to do on a Friday. Just fill your
Yeah.
time on a Friday.
Yeah.
And
Homework.
then do you go through the answers to the test with them?
Oh yeah,
during
1,000,000%. And then
afterwards?
if they get it wrong, I have to write it out 3
Yeah.
times. Just I don't have
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
TA's out on a trip tomorrow, so I'm on my own. So it's all
Yeah.
about filling the
Yeah.
time in.
Yeah. Top quality teaching and it's at its
Always.
finest, you know. Thank you to Blue Moon Boy and thank you to everybody who's contributed tonight. Really, really appreciate it. Stay tuned on Gallowgateshots YouTube channel as well as always. Always some excellent content and become a member. I think there's different membership options. You can pay £2.99 or £4.99. You get a different level of content, get some stuff released early, and it helps out the channel to create excellent content like Laura and I have just delivered for an hour and 2 minutes of your life. Really appreciate you all joining us. Thank you so much for the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, stay alert, do your thing. Anything else that you fancy?
Happy
Really
Hanukkah.
good. Happy Hanukkah, Hanukkah, Lanaka, Banaka, whatever. Links Africa. And loads of new content coming as well. I've got the My United stuff, and I've got the obviously shades bi-monthly United State as well. So loads of good stuff coming up and loads of good stuff in the pipeline. So keep supporting the channel. Follow us on Twitter and all that carry on. And have an absolutely fantastic Friday. And how are the lads on Saturday? Hopefully we get a win. All the best. Everybody have a great weekend and we'll see you next time. So thanks very much. We'll give a little wave like this. Why not? And then we'll go.